Hi, welcome to today's community chat. We're going to be speaking with the Virginia Arts Festival about what they have coming up this season. It's their 26th year, and we're going to be talking about the Virginia International Tattoo that starts tomorrow. I know so many people are excited to go, but also have tickets and are looking forward to that. So I'm going to bring on the Director of Public Relations, Ali Pereira, to join us to talk about from the inside scoop what's happening this year. And so we have her actually in studio with us today.
Yay.
There's Ali, and we're so excited that you could join us with a very busy week. That, I can't imagine all the stuff that you all have planned, are planning, are moving around.
Yeah.
But if you want to jump in first to the Virginia International Tattoo, and then we can take a look at what's happening, over the course of the season.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
No, thank you so much for having me. It's such an exciting but busy time for us over at the Virginia Arts Festival. Like you mentioned, this is Tattoo Week for us, so this is our big signature event that we do here in Norfolk. The Virginia International Tattoo is the 26th annual, so every year is different. I think a lot of times people say, I've been to the tattoo before, I've seen it, but we really bring something new to the performances every single year. This year's theme is a tribute to military families, so super special and patriotic for us here in Norfolk as it is, but we're really celebrating each of these countries that comes, military families this year. So 9 different countries will be here, including a group from the Ukraine, which is really exciting, and I think will be an extra layer of inspiration for us all. The tattoo, like you said, opens tomorrow night. We're at Scope Arena in downtown Norfolk, and it's really an event for everybody. We have some pre-show activities that take place out there called the Tattoo Hullabaloo. So you show up early, you can interact with some of the cast. There are performances taking place outside. It's a true festival environment as a part of the tattoo, and then we encourage you to stay for the show that evening.
Absolutely, and I'm just going to point viewers to the fact that you all, have sent us some footage, but we also have some footage from previous year's events, so that's what you're seeing now, just to give it some color, and you can see, a look at what you might expect this year, but, according to the tattoo this year, there are over 800 performers. That's pretty significant.
That's right. The tattoo has grown, certainly since the beginning. Mm-hmm. I mean, the first tattoo we did, I think there were maybe 100. And now our cast, like you mentioned, is coasting closer to even 900 now. And you talk about kind of the bread and butter of the tattoo are our bagpipes. Everybody loves the bagpipers. There will be 150 bagpipes playing together as part of the tattoo from, all of the different countries. They come together in our massed pipes and drums segment. Highland dancers, musicians, obviously from the U.S. military. Mm-hmm. It's just a true celebration of patriotism and celebration of these countries' cultures right here in Norfolk. I think a lot of people don't realize that we have this huge event taking place. There are tattoos all over the world, and a lot of people always ask me, why is it called a tattoo? The term tattoo is technically a Dutch word, 17th century word, and it literally translates to taps off. So historically, it was a signal for the troops to return to their barracks. So it was like a last call, march throughout the town. And over time, it's developed into this ceremonial display of music and might, is what we say about the tattoo. So all of our countries that participate, they sort of present their culture's best display of their military bands, of their military music, and really of their country's culture. It's a true celebration of international friendship.
Well, I'm so glad you got to that, because I of course, do have people that go, oh, international tattoo, what is it? Right. Not in this case. Like you said, I just want to list some of the groups they have for people that might not know, but Australia, France, Latvia, New Zealand, Singapore, and the UK, as well as Ukraine, which you mentioned. That is a significant amount of military tributes that will happen and displays.
And I feel like it's a metaphor for how the world should be, because these folks can't speak the same language, but they're there communicating backstage through music. Mm-hmm. And it's a beautiful kind of reminder to all of us that music and the arts can really bring everybody together.
Absolutely. And there is something this year that's happening for a tribute to military families. Can you speak about that a little bit?
Yeah, we are encouraging the public to submit their military families' stories and photos, and the idea is to thread them throughout the show. So you can submit those on our website, vafest.org/tattoo. We have sort of a submission form, and we're wanting to hear from you. We're wanting to hear from our area, near and far, in hopes that we can help kind of celebrate the fact that we've got so many military families here locally.
Absolutely. And all of this is happening in conjunction with the NATO Festival. I mean, can you talk a little bit about that? And there are events that bring those two together as well.
That's right. I'm glad you mentioned that. The Norfolk NATO Festival also sort of falls under the Virginia Arts Festival umbrella. We work really closely with NATO ACT to present the Norfolk NATO Festival. They have a flag raising that kicks off tomorrow evening on Scope Plaza at 5 p.m. And that's sort of NATO night at the Tattoo. Fast forward to Saturday morning, we help produce the Norfolk NATO Festival Parade of Nations. So all of the NATO countries will have a float in that parade. You'll sort of see the different, there's 30 countries now, the addition of Finland. We're excited about that. And then as soon as that parade concludes, we transition everybody over to Town Point Park. And these are all free events for the Norfolk NATO Festival International Village. So that's a really fun, family-friendly event too. You show up, the kids get a passport, and they're encouraged to sort of visit all the tents from all the different NATO countries, learn a little bit, get their passport stamped. It's a really fun way to educate. I feel like your family can learn a lot at this event, and to just sort of, I don't know that people realize that Norfolk is NATO's North American headquarters. So right here, we've got this important organization, and the Norfolk NATO Festival is a good way to explain sort of NATO's purpose and NATO's role here, right here in our home.
Absolutely. And the fact that that event is free and open to the community, like what a good chance to get out and actually partake in some of the events happening at the festival.
Exactly. I know I'm seeing your dance.
Oh, sorry. We're getting a little ahead of it in the B-roll, but we're going to, we'll talk a little bit about what's to come. And I mean, all the footage is just so beautiful from these performances that people can look forward to. There is one thing, and this actually might segue into talking about Alvin Ailey, is one thing at the festival at the Virginia International Tattoo is there is a ability for students to come and either on a field trip or see it, or for kids or for that arts education. I mean, can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, that is a huge part of our mission at Virginia Arts Festival. It really has been since the beginning. A lot of our artists, including Alvin Ailey, who you're seeing on the screen, and all the tattoo, the military bands that are here performing as part of the tattoo, we go into the schools. We bring the schools to us. We're doing 2 student matinees for the Virginia International Tattoo. There's one Thursday, there's one Friday. Those take place every year. So we, I feel like the tattoo cast looks forward to those. They love interacting with students. It's a big part of the Arts Festival. Like I mentioned, our outreach efforts. We have a whole education department that specifically programs taking our artists into the schools and giving these students an opportunity that they might not otherwise have had.
Absolutely. And then, so, moving maybe into Alvin Ailey, that is something where, and Director Rob Cross has said, they are such a world-renowned company. They're coming in, and they do give this, like, students around here, they give schools the opportunity to have master classes with them, to learn from them. I mean, that is such a huge opportunity for kids that might not have that access otherwise.
Right. I mean, imagine, and now we're looking at Williamsburg Live, but back to Alvin Ailey,
yes.
We get to have Alvin Ailey, which is probably the most important modern dance company in the world, here in our town for a full week. So they'll be doing education outreach. We're doing a student matinee at the Ferguson Center in Newport News, and then we're doing a student matinee here in Norfolk. So sometimes I feel like all it takes is for a student to see somebody that looks like them on stage, and to know that maybe this is a career path for me, or maybe I can turn my passion into a career. And I think Alvin Ailey, American Dance Theater, who you see here on the screen, they do a great job of helping us preach that. I mean, this company, they have a school, so they're great with these kids. They come into our area and just really connect and sort of put the pieces together of the arts and sort of making it as part of your life.
Absolutely. And I mean, to talk about some of the big events that have just lined up, right after the other, just so people know when they can go see Alvin Ailey. It's been Swan Lake, Virginia International Tattoo, and then it's going to be Alvin Ailey. So it's not that far away. It's just next weekend.
Our April is stacked. We, like you mentioned, we kicked off last weekend with Philadelphia Ballet, the beautiful ballet, Swan Lake. And our April is sort of back-to-back weekends, which is great for our community and for our region. We have Tattoo this weekend. Alvin Ailey, their first performance will be next Tuesday, April 25th at the Ferguson Center in Newport News. Then that weekend, the public performances are April 28th through the 30th at Chrysler Hall here in Norfolk. So 4 chances to catch this amazing modern dance company. I can't sing their praises enough. And like we talked about, 2 student matinees. So if you've got students, or if you have a group that might be interested in taking part in our student matinees, please reach out to us.
And this is not the first year that Alvin Ailey has been here, correct?
That's right. We bring them every 2 or 3 years. They were a part of our plans for the pandemic, and then we all know what happened with that. So happy to be able to really get them on our calendar and bring them back to our area. It's been, I think the last time they were here was 2018.
Wow.
So it's
okay.
long been,
yeah.
We're ready. We're ready to welcome them back to town.
And, thanks for bringing up, the pandemic. I think that's the other thing that, is such a good feature now almost of your organization is having that Perry Pavilion, which was, as you said, from the pandemic era. So if you could talk a little bit about that pavilion, and if you have seen it, I'm sure you have in front of Chrysler Hall and Scope. So it's right there.
We're so proud to have the Perry Pavilion as part of our season now. It was, like you mentioned, a product of the pandemic. The Perry Pavilion, back when venues weren't even reopening, we were doing a lot of events outside. So we were able to sell pod seats, in groups of 2 and 4, and we were measuring, 10 feet apart, and all of that. We sort of just made lemonade out of lemons. But the organization, a lot of our donors and our board really saw it as an important part of the community. So we wanted to keep it as part of the Virginia Arts Festival season. So luckily for us, we're able to have that. It's a huge tent. You really can't miss it. It's at the corner of Charlotte Street and Bank Street, directly across from the Virginia Arts Festival building, and it's called the Perry Pavilion. And we can program it, as we see fit. There's a lot of Americana folk. It's a full lineup we've gotten there for April, May, and June. So super proud to be able to have that in sort of the heart of downtown. So you're surrounded by restaurants, you're close by parking, and right next to Chrysler Hall. So really in the arts hub of downtown Norfolk.
Absolutely. And there is also a casual aspect of the tent that you all take advantage of in some cases, right? So
yes.
A little bit more laid back, I guess, performances or events.
Yeah, that's a good point. It does have a floor, so you can still wear your heels if you want to get dressed up to come to a show. But you're right. It's more of our programming that it still has an outdoor feel because it is a tent. So it's not as, I would say, you could wear jeans. You don't have to feel like you're walking into an indoor venue. It's sort of that outdoor festival vibe.
And then, with the Perry Pavilion and all these resources that you all have, I mean, can we talk a little bit about, where some of these performances are taking place? I mean, we have the Chrysler Hall right there. We have Scope, where everything's going to be this weekend, really throughout all of Norfolk for the NATO Festival and everything. I mean, how many venues and different places do you all utilize?
Oh my gosh, to go back through over the years, Rob Cross is our director, and he does a great job of picking the right venues. We go throughout the region. In the holidays, we'll do some things up in Richmond. We go to Williamsburg. You see Williamsburg Live. We've got happening at the end of June. But we're not. I think that might be confusing sometimes for people because the Virginia Arts Festival, we're not one venue. We're a traveling festival, so we present in various venues throughout the region. We've even got a venue on the second floor of our building in Norfolk called the Robin Hickson Theater. It's in our Clay and J. Barr Education Center. We present in churches and sort of obscure locations like warehouses. Sometimes there's really what I love about the festival is that we're really not scared to try some of these new and sort of out of the box avant-garde places to present performances.
Absolutely. I mean, and that sort of seems to fit with your mission, right? Getting out in the community, telling different people in Hampton Roads or wherever that you all end up about the arts, about what's happening.
Right. No, it's, the mission initially in 1997 when the city hired Rob, the goal was to drive tourism here in the shoulder months. So before we know summer tourist season happens, it was the idea was to fill up restaurants, fill up our hotels in the spring. And that's still our bread and butter. April, May, and June, right before summer sort of peaks, is when we want to drive visitors here. But we also want to present world-class arts here for our locals so that you don't have to leave town to see some of these amazing performances like Alvin Ailey, like the Virginia International Tattoo. We want to bring those artists here for our region.
Absolutely. And now we're seeing back at the Scope for those of you watching. But, we just heard about Williamsburg Live. I did want to get to that, but first, just talking about the neighborhood in general, the Neon District is coming up, and there are even more apartment buildings. I mean, there's constantly things being developed. I mean, how useful is that area of Norfolk between the arts, between this new district for you all, this sort of growing area?
Oh, no, it's vital. And we work really closely with Downtown Norfolk Council and really the city of Norfolk to try to program spaces like the Neon District. We're going to do, just announced 2 days ago, we're going to have some free performances out there this year. We're presenting a husband and wife duo called the Concert Truck. They have a grand piano, a beautiful piano on a truck, and they drive it to various locations and set up and sort of present these beautiful, classical works for free for the community. So we always try to go into spaces like the Plot and like the Neon District and, provide arts, in a way that maybe you wouldn't have thought of the arts could be.
Absolutely. I mean, it's so nice that those areas are coming up and are available and, can partner with you all. I mean, sort of utilizing maybe the beginning mission, those parts of the city that people need to get to know about, that people maybe haven't visited before.
And we love to collaborate. I think that that's a big part of what we do. We're a relationship-based organization, and, we really wouldn't have been around this long without some of those partnerships and some of those relationships. So we lean on, the area, we lean on the city, we lean on our other arts organizations to really, drive home how important the arts are here in our area.
Absolutely. And you also have, something for everyone, whether it's the ballet, whether it's theater, whether it's, music coming up in more concert style like Williamsburg Live. I mean, that is such an interesting piece of it, right? That you all can attract so many different, types of people, their interests.
It's true. And Rob does a great job of making sure that, we genre jump a little bit. We're not sort of identified as one. We have a beautiful dance series, probably the strongest dance series in our southeastern Virginia. Classical music, chamber music. Rob is a member of the Virginia Symphony, so we do a lot of work with the symphony. We try to make sure that, if you have a pulse, you can find something in our season that you'd be interested in, or, introducing you to new and unique performances that you wouldn't have otherwise thought of or even heard of.
Mm-hmm. And this is something that happened a little bit earlier this year, but just to maybe put it on people's radar, that you also do jazz. You guys have jazz theater at the ATUX.
Yeah, we do. Mm-hmm. Our Attucks Jazz Club is a hidden gem. The Attucks Theater is such a beautiful venue, perfectly intimate and historic. This is the this building just celebrated their centennial a couple of years ago in 2019, and we have a monthly jazz series from the fall to the spring. In the second floor of the Attucks, we set it up like a nightclub, jazz club. You go in and it's cabaret style seating. There's a bar, and it's jazz as it was meant to be heard. Up close, the capacity up there is about 120, 130 seats. So we bring artists from out of town here to perform with our local jazz trio, the John Toomey Trio. And jazz in this area, we get really good feedback on the responses from people that people want to see jazz. So we always try to have that series happen every year. And we do some main stage acts at the Attucks Theater as well. But the Attucks Jazz Club it's monthly from fall to spring. So we'll hear soon, hopefully, announce the lineup for this year.
That's great. So it really carries you all really until close up to when the season opening starts.
That's right. Mm-hmm. That's right. We're a year-round festival. I mean, obviously our season proper, we're Spring Performing Arts Festival, but we do some holiday events. We do the Attucks Jazz Club. We're doing some stuff in Virginia Beach in July. I'm super excited to be partnering with them. There's an exhibit coming through called Beyond Van Gogh. We've got an immersive experience with the Van Gogh
people
exhibit.
Are very excited about this.
Yes, so we're really year round. So we stay nice. We stay busy. We stay trying to present the arts in unique and exciting ways.
Absolutely. And we're seeing Alvin Ailey again on the screen here. I mean, it's just so beautiful. Ailey. So I'll have it on the screen during the whole conversation.
Ailey, I mean, I have dance background, so I'm a little bit biased. But Ailey, if you've never seen, this is the one modern dance company that I would suggest that you take advantage of coming and buying a ticket to. So our website is vafest.org. They have their finale that they do at every performance called Revelations. And it's this beautiful display. Alvin Ailey, he's a Medal of Freedom winner. I mean, he's a genius in my eyes in the dance world. And you're seeing part of Revelations here on screen, but it's probably one of the most impactful, important pieces of modern dance that exists. So take advantage of this. It's the final week of April 25th, and then 28th through the 30th.
And I'll have that link up because now to get to Williamsburg Live, which I know many people are excited about. I mean, the lineup this year, if you can just give us a little idea of what people can expect. But that is one where, there are tickets available still. People should, head to your website if they are interested.
Williamsburg Live is sort of our bookend. It's sort of our bookend to our opening. This is sort of how we round out the festival season. We kick off summer with us up in Williamsburg. So on the lawn of the art museums, we set up a big tent, similar in size to our Perry Pavilion. We like to say the capacity of the tent is 1776 because it takes place up in Williamsburg. But 3 nights of outdoor concerts out there on the lawn. You can explore Colonial Williamsburg. It's a great idea. It's a great way to make a weekend out of it, a weekend visit up to Colonial Williamsburg, eat in the restaurants, do the shopping that everyone knows is so great up in Williamsburg, and then come to our concerts out there on the lawn. Friday night, we're presenting the Wood Brothers. They're an Americana trio. Opening act for that is Shovels and Rope. Saturday night, we've got Kenny Loggins, which I know a lot of people are excited about, seeing this sort of rock icon. And his openers, I'm particularly excited to see. They're this group of dads who I guess have had this, I don't want to say midlife crisis, but they've all decided to quit their jobs and become yacht rock musicians. So the band is called Yacht Rock Review. What a great way to like open for Kenny Loggins.
Absolutely.
Yacht rock. So that'll be Saturday night. And then Sunday night of Williamsburg Live is June 18th. And we've got this amazing blues singer, musician named Kebmo. I'm a huge fan of his. He's, again, skews Americana blues, but he's got like that buttery, rich from New Orleans, so like that Louisiana voice. It'll be a great kickoff. You can see sort of the vibe of Williamsburg Live. Very family friendly. You can come and spread out on the lawn. We've got food trucks, beer tents, and it's just a great way to kick off your summer with us there in Williamsburg. And we love going up to Williamsburg. They're such a great partner for us up there.
Absolutely. I mean, it just looks beautiful on the lawn there, and what a good way to cap off the season for you, at least the season proper. But I know people are very excited for that. And Yacht Rock, as you said, I mean, even down here, I mean, what a good way right on the water down here to sort of get that in. Exactly.
And I encourage, make a weekend out of it. If you live down here on the south side, drive up to Williamsburg for the weekend, stay in a hotel, and sort of get your Williamsburg fix. It's a really, really fun weekend for us up there.
And I know we're jumping around a little bit, but I did want to talk about one thing that caught my eye, in the festival. And these are these coffee concerts.
Yes.
But what a cool opportunity, and I'll let you talk about it, just to sort of go even a step further into maybe learning more about the arts.
Our coffee concerts are something that we're particularly proud of. We have a beautiful, amazing pianist. She's a Russian-American woman named Olga Kern. She's our director of chamber music. Gosh, one of the most important pianists in the world, really. And she programs our chamber music series. So she programs these coffee concerts. And it's chamber music in intimate venues, in churches. We're doing one at the Williamsburg Library. So we've got 5 of them this season. And it seats about 100 people. You get to hear this chamber music. You can hear a pin drop in a lot of these venues. And then the reason why they're called coffee concerts, they take place at 10:30 in the morning. So when the concert ends, you're encouraged to sort of mingle and interact with the performers and with the other patrons there. It's just this beautiful, intimate way to hear classical chamber music.
Yeah, I think that's just so unique, and it's something that, you can't really just go to a concert and see that and have the opportunity. So for you all in your season to sort of make time for those, it seems really special.
It's one of the events that we're most proud of, for sure.
Yeah. And Chicago, the musical in concert was just on screen, and I don't want to miss talking about that since it's in our B-roll here. But can you just tell us a little bit about that? What a cool opportunity. So you're not seeing it on Broadway, but to see it in concert and see those songs.
Yes. Chicago, the musical in concert, that's just in a couple of weeks. So Saturday, May 6th is when we're doing that at Chrysler Hall. And we have another important part of our artistic team, Rob Fisher, who is a world famous Broadway conductor. He's been a part of Chicago the Musical on Broadway for what feels like millions of years, over 20 years at least. And he travels around with Chicago the Musical. Let's say when a different country or a different city wants to present this musical, he goes there, and he's been the music director of this show for forever. So he's going to be here conducting the Virginia Symphony Orchestra. So you'll get to see the orchestra on stage at Chrysler Hall, which I think is really unique and rare. Normally the orchestra is down below in the pit for some of this, but this will be, we're bringing in 5 or 6 Broadway soloists. So they're up in New York coming down just for this. And they'll be singing, it's all the music of Chicago the Musical. It's not, there's no set, there's not like there's no dance, but you'll hear all this music and you'll get to hear kind of Rob interact with these, because he knows all of these singers. He's got these relationships up there on Broadway. So it'll be the music that you love, which Chicago, that music doesn't get any better. And seeing it played by our very own Virginia Symphony is going to be something really spectacular.
Well, I might be biased because I am a musical lover.
Yes.
So,
Yes,
it sounds fantastic. And I think that's one more thing I wanted to point out is that the staff that you all have and the directors, everyone is so ingrained really in the music industry in some facet. Your staff, and I'm assuming, educators and different people that you all have that same love.
Yeah, you're right. I think that everybody in our organization has some sort of affinity for the arts, whatever that may be. Maybe it's working at the festival, that kind of, we all have the same goal, which is to explain and to present the importance of the arts, not just for our area, but really for humanity. The arts are just vital to us as humans.
Yeah, and there's one thing I wanted to tell everyone, just before we wrap up, and then I'll give you the floor as well, for anything else you want to touch on. But, what is the best way for people to get a feel maybe for the events this season or stay up to date? Is it really is your website? Is it social media? What's the best way?
I think that it's twofold. Our website, subscribe to our emails. Now that we're in festival, we're sending out weekly emails that say, this week at the Virginia Arts Festival, because we have a stacked calendar. If you visit vafest.org, there's a way to join our cyber club, and you can get those weekly updates from us. And exactly that too on social media. Facebook at VA Arts Fest is how to follow along with us. We do a lot of performer takeovers. We're taking you behind the scenes at the Tattoo this week, which I've been really excited about. Meeting all the different countries, things like that. So there's lots of ways to engage with us, and you can always call our box office if you have specific questions, 757-282-2822.
Thank you. And I'll make sure to tag and link some of that on WAVY.com and here so that people have direct access. But, I wanted to give it, the one thing that I thought was very cool I just wanted to add in is, there's a lot of co-commissioned new work. Sorry, I say a lot, but about 3, I think. But that is such an interesting feature to me of the festival. I mean, to have original works, available here to see.
That's right. That's sort of one of the pillars of our mission is to present new work. So often Rob will have been working on projects like this for 2 or 3 years, and one of those projects that we're really excited about, we're one of the co-commissioners for Mark Morris Dance Group. So they're a company out of New York. They've come to the festival every couple of years. We haven't had them here in a while. They're going to be doing, it's called The Look of Love, and it's music of Burt Bacharach. The late Burt Bacharach just passed away, so it's going to feel even more special to have this piece as part of our a world premiere here in Norfolk. And then so that's May 13th. The following weekend is our big world premiere with the Virginia Symphony that we're doing with mandolin prodigy Chris Thiele. He's been in different configurations, different bands like Nickel Creek and some other. He's been a host of an NPR show, but he is going to be performing a world premiere here in our area. We'll perform in 3 different venues, May 19th, 2021. And it's going to be a mandolin concerto. He's calling it, we don't have a title for it yet because he's still workshopping, a mandolin concerto narrative song cycle. So it'll be Chris Thiele with the symphony and this brand new work. And the idea, like you said, is that these works live on. But the cool thing is that you can see it here right in our area for the very first time it'll ever be performed. And then when it goes off somewhere with these world premieres, it'll, as part of the performance, say, world premiere presented by Virginia Arts Festival. So our region and our area gets to sort of claim these world premieres that we present.
Right, really and exciting. Sort of spread around. That's awesome. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, so we hope you'll join us. Again, May 19th at the Ferguson Center, May 20th is at Chrysler Hall, and May 21st is at Sandler Centers. 3 different cities, but 3 world premieres.
Amazing. Well, Allie, is there anything else that you want to talk about, whether it's about the tattoo this weekend or about anything coming up?
I thank you for having me. I feel like I could talk to you for another hour based on it.
We could have just gone down the lineup for the Virginia International Tattoo. I thought about it for a second.
We've got 70, I think the number, we did some number crunching, it's 70 performances between now and the end of June. So we just encourage you to, bring your friends and family out to something this season, whether it's our free events, the concert truck and the community, or coming to a venue and seeing a performance. There's nothing like live performance. There's nothing like live entertainment. You can watch a lot of YouTube videos now. There's social media. You can watch all kinds of stuff. But I take pride and comfort in that. Like nothing can replace like that live concert and that live entertainment feel. So we hope that we're presenting a way to keep the arts alive here in Hampton Roads.
Absolutely, and for us, it's right in our backyard. Yes. So what a great opportunity and privilege to have that here. So
and come say hi if you come to an event. Please come and say hi to us. There's often you'll see us wearing our Virginia Arts Festival name tags and introduce yourself, and we want to talk to the people that keep our region great. So
absolutely,
we hope we'll see you.
Well,
we'll see you at some events.
Yes, I hope so too. Well, Allie, thank you so much for joining us. And I just want to give a brief just information. This will be on WAVY.com. This will be on Facebook. And you can go back and watch this conversation, hear more about the event, and I will also link some of the websites and social media contacts that Allie gave us today for your information later on. So, Allie, thank you so much, and
thank you
for joining us today.